Namaste. Hi, I'm Karen with Samsara Yoga Center. Thank you for joining me for this short stress release class. So today's practice will be done on the mat. We'll be on our backs, on our bellies, and on our knees. So some props that you might like to bring into class today would be a blanket, a mat, and anything else to make you comfortable. So let's get started with today's class. So to start, you have the option. We're going to do just a little bit of centering before coming down onto the back. So you can either start directly on the back or you can start with me in a seated position. So come to a comfortable seated position. It could be cross-legged, knees tucked underneath, or sitting in a chair. Close the eyes or set a soft gaze and rest the hands on the thighs or the lap or anywhere where it's comfortable. And then take a moment just to come into the present moment. So notice the sounds around you, the temperature of the air, any sense of light and dark. And then start to notice the weight of the body at the sit bones and in the thighs. Notice that connection to the earth, to what grounds us. And then begin to notice the breath in the nostrils. And notice that lightness, that ease of the breath as it moves in and out. And then notice the effect of the inhalation and exhalation in the rib cage, in the trunk of the body. Notice if you can feel your breath at the band of the navel, or perhaps you notice it in the crook of the armpits, or under the shoulder blades. But sense the breath filling the body. Sense the breath leaving the body in this moment and in this time and place. And then as you're ready, gently flutter the eyes open to a soft gaze. And then we'll come down onto the back. So coming down onto the back, we can have the knees bent or the legs straight. We can rest the hands on the belly or out to the sides of the body. We're going to take a moment here to do a little bit of pranayama, and it's the most basic pranayama in yoga. So first we'll just begin to breathe diaphragmatically. So that means that we feel the breath down by the band of the navel, underneath the low ribs, maybe into the pelvic bowl. And we can really sense that the diaphragm is moving deeply, right? Pulling down away from the dome of the pelvis. The dome of the rib cage down into the pelvis. And we'll have some awareness of that before we come into our samavriti. And so samavriti is simply when the inhalation and exhalation is about the same length, and the transitions between the two are soft and easy. So rest the hands wherever they feel most comfortable. Close the eyes or set a soft gaze. And notice the movement of the body under the hands. Notice the movement of the body in the belly, in the low back, in the sacrum. Feel that the breath is moving easy and that it has a sense of completeness to it. so the breath feels satisfying. And then here we begin to even out the length of the inhalation and exhalation. So they are just about even. And whenever we come to the end of a breath, we want to relax the body so that the breath can just begin. And then we'll start to warm up the shoulders. So if the hands are on the belly, bring the arms down by the sides of the body. You can keep the eyes closed or set a soft gaze. But begin to inhale the arms up overhead and exhale the arms down along the sides of the body. And the movement of the arms is timed with the movement of the breath. Feel the shoulders opening. Start to soften any tension in the neck, the upper chest and back. And now I'll begin to extend the exhalation. So as you exhale, slow it down, lengthen it out for just a moment or two longer than the inhale. And then when the fingertips touch the ground, inhalation comes in at the normal pace. Exhale, we lengthen it out just a little bit longer than the inhale. And then inhaling full and smooth, the hands float overhead. Let's do that 2 more times. Long, slow, deliberate exhalation. Smooth, even inhalation. Exhale the arms down by the sides 1 more time. And then walk the feet wide so that the outside edges of the feet are at the outer edges of the mat. Bring the arms out by the sides of the body into a T or into cactus or even overhead. Continue to breathe with that longer exhalation and drop the knees over to the left. Inhale, float up through center, and then exhale, drop them down to the other side. Inhale, we float through center, and exhale, they drop. So keeping that longer exhalation, the knees move with the breath. And if we like, we can start to turn the head in the opposite direction of the knees. Notice the smooth turning of the spine. How the exhalation at the edges of the movement seem to deepen the twist. And that as you inhale, the knees seem to just float back to center. 1 more time on each side. And then we'll all meet back in center. And on an exhale, we'll pull the knees into the chest. And then lengthen out, bringing the body nice and long into a symmetrical stretch. Exhale, pull the elbows down by the sides of the body, keeping the forearms perpendicular to the floor. And then we'll bend the knees, drawing the heels towards the sit bones. And keeping the ankles, knees, and hips all in a nice even line. So we'll go through pelvic tilts coming into low bridges. And again, we're going to continue to have that longer exhalation. So exhale, roll the pelvis, press into the backs of the arms, lift the hips just as high as is comfortable, and then slowly roll back down. We'll do this 2 more times. And then we're going to lengthen out this movement. So we'll exhale, press into the feet, tilt the pelvis, press into the bridge, and then stay in the bridge for an inhalation. And then lengthen that exhalation and slowly, slowly, slowly roll down or bring the hips down. Stay released for the inhalation. And then exhale, tilt the pelvis, press into the backs of the arms and feet, float the hips up. Pause for the inhale. And long, slow exhalation. We move back down. Pause for the inhale. Exhale, roll up into bridge. This is the last one. Stay at the top for an inhalation. Exhale, roll it or set it back down. Pause for the inhalation. And then we'll come into a symmetrical stretch, reaching the heels from the hips and the hands from the shoulders. Exhale, soften, and just take 3 cycles of the breath, observing what you feel in the moment, both physically, energetically. And let any chatter of the mind slowly dissolve so that you are simply present with your physical self in this moment. And then from here you can roll to one side and come up to seated, or if you like, you can roll up like a ball to seated. So from here, we'll come to all fours. Knees will be under the hips. Heels of the hands and wrists come under the shoulders. Take a moment to pause and feel connected to the ground in this shape. Press the tops of the feet into the floor, the palms of the hands, the fingertips. Press down through the shoulders. Press down through the hips. Lengthen through the spine and feel the breath. And then we'll start to move into cat-cow. So we exhale and round. Inhale, we lengthen and then soften and open. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, broadening across sit bones and collarbones, relaxing through the belly. Let the current experience be absorbed in the body. Keep yourself in this present moment. And then the next time we round up into cat, we will add on a child's pose. Dropping onto the forearms, we inhale through the shoulders, press up into cow. Exhale, round, cat, child's. Inhale, press through, forward, and cow. So close your eyes or set a soft gaze. Find the rhythm of your breath. I encourage you to extend that exhalation if it feels right. And we'll do 2 more, just like this. Finding that fluidity, that easy turning of the body. And then we'll come up to all fours and pause. Close the eyes. Notice how you feel in this moment. Really sense as you extend, drawing out the exhalation. And then we'll do abdominal churning. So abdominal churning is moving the body from side to side using these cat-cow-like motions, but it really builds heat on one side of the belly and then over to the other. So start off in a tabletop position, maybe having the knees a bit wider. As you inhale, you shift your weight over to the right. Exhale, bring it up through center. Inhale, soften, and then shift and exhale, round up through center. So it's like we're churning one side of the abdominals at a time. The face stays soft. The head and neck are relaxed. And we're putting our attention into the belly and really squeezing out that right side of the abdominals. We'll do 3 more. Last one on this side. Bring it back to center. You can drop down into a child's or supported table. Take 3 cycles of the breath here and just notice how one side of the belly feels compared to the other. Sense that the limbs are heavy and grounding into the earth. The breath is light and free. And then we'll come back up to all fours. Take a breath just to be present in this moment. And then on our next inhalation, we shift the weight over to the left. Exhale, rounding up through center. Inhale, dropping and shifting again. So the first time I did these, it wasn't very smooth or fluid. It felt kind of awkward and strange. But the more I did them, the more familiar they became. And now they're one of my favorite exercises to do, or practices, I should say. It positively affects my digestion. It helps my sense of abdominal strength. It gives me greater awareness. And I find it soothing as it's like waves rolling into shore, or a gentle rocking or swinging. Let's do 2 more. Last one here. Bring it back down to down to supported table or down into child's pose. Breathe into the belly and notice the effects of the practice. The face is soft, the mind is clear. You're just present in this moment, noticing the physical body, the breath within. And then we'll inhale, come up to all fours. And then here, if you like, grab a blanket. So we'll be doing a little bit of kneeling to child's work, and we'll be spending some time on the knees. And at the same time, if child's is not the most comfortable pose for you, you can bring in a prop such as a bolster. You can come down onto a chair or a stool or onto a tabletop. You can do this with a chair, whatever is most convenient. But begin by coming down onto the knees, pressing through the legs, down into the shins, even into the tops of the feet. Gently engage your mula bandha and feel that the shoulders and ears are lined up over the hips and knees. Set a soft gaze and just take a moment to be present. When we inhale, we'll be raising the arms overhead. So you can bring them out to the sides. You can bring them forward. You can bring them all the way up over the head and gaze at the hands, or you can just bring them however high it's comfortable. We'll inhale, draw the arms up. Exhale, come down into a child's pose. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, drop into a child's. Inhaling, we lift. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, lift. Exhaling, we fold. We'll do 3 more, just like that. The exhalation draws out slightly longer than the inhalation. One more time. Make your way down to child's or supported table. And take 3 cycles of the breath and just simply notice. What do you feel right now in this moment? Without judgment, without criticism. Just experiencing yourself as you are. And then we'll inhale up to all fours. And we'll do a little wagging of the tail. So looking over one shoulder at the buttocks and the buttocks looking back. Reach the arms forward. Shift the weight back, drawing the hips over the knees, coming into a long and easy puppy pose. Nothing too severe or too energetic, just a lengthening of the spine. Exhale deeply through the mouth. And then we'll set up for Makarasana or crocodile pose. So here you can take a blanket and bring it under the chest to support. If you have a bolster or a pillow or a rolled up comforter, you can put that underneath you for support. Or otherwise you can just come right down onto the belly. Folding the arms under the forehead. Turning the toes out as you widen the legs apart. Close the eyes and soften the whole face. Notice your breath here. Notice how it feels different resting on the belly than it does when we're lying on our back or sitting or kneeling or standing. As we inhale, the breath moves down and we feel the belly press into the earth and the breath rise at the back of the body. The back of the pelvis, the small of the back seems to fill with our breath. We're more aware of the breath filling the upper portion of the lungs under the sternum. And perhaps we can notice more acutely the breath in the sides of the body, at the side ribs, and under the armpits and shoulder blades. Just feel the movement of the breath in the torso. And if it pleases you, continue to lengthen out the exhalation ever so gently. And then begin to soften down through the body. Soften the forehead, the cheekbones, the lips. Soften the tongue and the hinge of the jaw, the throat. Relax the shoulders, the lengths of the arms. And feel those places where the arms come into contact with the earth. Feel rooted into the earth. Soften the throat, along the collarbone and shoulder girdle. Soften into the upper chest, the upper back, and then down through the spine and across the back of the body, spreading like the limbs of a tree. Feel the weight in the belly, at the solar plexus, and feel the breath as if you're breathing into the earth. Feel the face of the pelvis broad and open, pressing into the earth. And feel the earth rising up to meet you here. Travel down the legs, noticing the difference between the backs and the fronts of the leg. All the way down past the ankles and into the feet. Sense the air at the soles of the feet. Sense the earth at the top of the feet. And then feel the breath filling the toe tips, filling the feet. The breath fills the ankles, the calves and the shin. Feel the breath in the knees and the thighs, the pelvis, the belly, the rib cage and arms. Feel the breath at the front and back of the heart and in the throat and in the face and head. And finally, just feel the breath in the nostrils. Cool air moving in and warm air moving out. Rest in the rhythm of your breath for as long as you like. May we find peace in our practice. May we find peace within ourselves. May we offer peace to our communities and to our world. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste.